Hey, welcome back. Today we're in a little bit of a different location. What we're going to be working on today is building a rack for our kayaks. Now, the rack that we're thinking about doing it's PVC rack, made out of PVC pipe. It should hold 3 kayaks. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is our mock-up. This is only one side of it. What we did is we started out by taking a measurement of the widest part of the kayak, which is, right through here. So it's 34 inches wide. What we did is we went ahead and we measured for our cross beams 35 inches. So it's going to give us a ½ inch on each side. So we're 35 from here to here. A ½ inch is going to give us plenty of room. These things they don't expand when they get wet. So the way we came up with our distance in between the cross members is we measured from the bottom of the kayak up to this point right here. You can see this sticks up just a little bit off the deck, so this is our highest point. We needed 15 inches for that. So we went ahead and we figured for 15 inches in between this hole. Next thing we had to do is we had to put it in our cross members. Now these cross members are going to come straight out like this, and they're going to go to another one of these that we're going to build. So all we did is we took our 15 inches, we subtracted the amount in here for the T. So we ended up with 2 pieces that are 6 1/4. So this is 6 1/4, 6 1/4, 6 1/4, 6 1/4. That's where we're going to start. So next thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and cut up our other side and dry fit this together and see how it fits. Then we'll square it up, we'll mark it out, take it apart, and glue it. So let's get to cutting. Okay, so we're going to start out with, we have to make 3 35s. I don't think I'm going to get 3 35s out of this particular length. But we'll get at least 2 35s out of here, then we'll cut up some of our 6 1/4s. What I did on this last one is I went ahead and I measured it for 4 foot because I wanted to see how close I was going to get, and I wanted to keep 1 4-footer out of this because I need the 4-footers to go in between them. I ended up going a little bit, about ½ inch. Oh, I shortened this up by ½ inch to get my 6 1/4. So I just have to keep that in mind when I make my other ones. I'm going to be a ½ inch short. And we get another piece of pipe. Keep going. Okay, got our parts cut up. So we start off with 2 elbows. Our 35-inch piece, this is going to go across the bottom. Then we get 2 6¼ inch pieces. Then we got our 2 T's, which are going to be our spanners. Two more 6¼ inches. Now, of course, when you go ahead and make these, you're going to want to size it up for your kayaks. These are the big Bonafide kayaks here. So these are big and heavy. They weigh about 90 pounds a piece with the seat. Now, the way I lay these things out is I'm going to take the seat off to put everything together, slide them in. Then I could go ahead and I could lay the seats on top of them or stick them in between them or something. But I'm trying to keep my height down as much as I can. This is our next support. Alright, I guess you could call this a dry fit right here. Went ahead and we assembled our 3 tiers. There's no glue, nothing's glued. Now, one thing we did find, and I'll see if I can get you in here, and you can see this. I gotta slide this back to there. Now, these were our highest point. So we wanted to make sure that we could clear that. So what we found is, if I get down here low enough for you to see that, but that's about 2 inches. Now we don't need 2 inches. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these pieces, take 3/4 inch off. So there's 2 here. That'll take us down 1.5 inches. That'll give us a 1/2 inch clearance on that seat holder there. Should be plenty. By doing that, we're going to be able to reduce the height of this entire thing by about 4.5 inches altogether, which would be nice because it does sit up a little high right now. This top rail where the kayak is going to rest is going to be at about 38.5, but this top side rail is, well, it's at 4 foot, and this little cap is 51.25 or so. So if we can reduce that, that's going to be nice. I just don't want to be so top heavy if I have this on the boat. So that'll keep everything a little bit lower. The one thing we decided to do is, well, 2 things we decided to do. Originally, we weren't going to add this cross member. Okay, we were just going to stay with this one, come up a little bit, and maybe put this cap there. Okay, that would have reduced our overall height too, but the kayak is still going to be sitting on top of here. Now, these kayaks are going to sit up about 14 inches total, and we're about 13 inches to the top. So the kayak's still going to sit just above here, which should not be an issue. So we got it dry fitted. Amazingly, this thing is holding up with the 2 kayaks on here. So that's 180 pounds worth of kayaks. Right now, it's pretty sturdy. I mean, I can move this thing back and forth. The one neat thing I found is that right about there, is our center, which if you come over here, it's right about where the handle is. So they did a pretty good job at centering this thing, because you would, you know, when you pick up from this center handle, you would want to be about in the center of the weight. So that's pretty neat. All right, so now what we got to do is take this apart. We're going to cut our 3/4 of an inch off all of these, and we'll be ready to start gluing up. So all of our pieces are cut, everything is laid out. So what we're going to first start to do is we're going to clean and glue together the pieces like this. So this is one, then our next one is going to go like this, and then we're going to have an elbow. So then when we put this together, they go like that. But we're going to start just doing pieces first, and then we'll make a side, then we'll make the other side, put that together, then do the back side, then go ahead and do our final assembly. So let's get going here. Okay, now we got most of this cleaned and primed. We'll go ahead and get our cement out, and we will start to glue some of this stuff up. Now you can see I came down about 3/4 of an inch or so. That's about what's going to go into here. You'll see as I stick this in, the purple should vanish. We really don't want to be looking at the sloppiness of the purple. We'll see how this works. And we're just going to push these together, give them a little twist, and hold them for a second. And that should be it. So you can see there's not too much sloppiness of the purple. So that's one. I'm going to do one of these. Again, stick them together, give them a little twist, hold it for a second, and you'll see we're starting to build it. Now these have to be 90 degrees from each other. So this is where it really starts to get critical, because if we're off, then we're not going to get things lining up. So we're going to use a square, and we're also going to use the table. So we're going to glue this side, and we're going to glue this side. And these want to be 90 degrees. One, put our square against this side, make sure we are at 90. You do have very limited working time with this. And that's it. So now this one needs to be at 90 degrees as well. Now we still got to cut our little piece for the top here. But that's going to be one side. And if we're looking at it this way, that's going to be our right side. So now the next one's going to need to be the opposite of that. Okay, now we have our two sides. We need to get 3 of our spanners this way, which are going to actually be the kayak supports. So these are the shorter poles that we cut. So we need 3 of these. Got to get them primed up, and we can then glue this whole thing together and make one end. Then we get to do this all over again. Now this is one side. When we go do the other side, we're not going to be able to twist them. So what we're going to actually have to do is glue up all 3, pull them together, and really put some pressure on it. Again, the elbow side. Now we need to line everything up. Make sure everything's going the right way. Here's one side. Now we need to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, there it is. I spared you the final assembly. Basically, it's the same thing that we were doing with everything else. We prime it, glue it, stick it together. So we put the 2 ends together. We got the spanners there for the front to the back. Everything is glued now. There's 3 kayaks on there, so there's almost 300 pounds, sitting all the way down there on the bottom. And it seems to be holding them. We'll see once this thing starts rocking and rolling on a boat. But that's it. They're all on. Now our plan with these things is we're going to secure them to the deck of the boat, and then we're going to come up with a strap, go over this, under the handle, then up over this bar, under that handle, over this bar, and under that handle, then do the same thing on the other side. That's going to hold these things, pretty well. That's probably all we need to do. The other thing that we may do is with the scupper holes, 3/4 inch PVC pipe will fit right into this hole. So we may go ahead and cut 2 pieces of 3/4, one for each hole, then run a bar 2 elbows across just to keep them spaced correctly so we can drop that whole thing in at one time. That'll really lock this thing together. These things won't be able to move much at all. We can do the same thing in the front. You know, our bar's right here. You can see it right there. So we can run another pipe right here straight all the way down. We would just need to figure out a way to keep it from turning and falling out, which it probably wouldn't if we made it long enough. So something to think about. Now, we kept this one up on top because we realized that we haven't put the decals on this one yet, as well as we need to put the rear seat holders back here. We've been using them without them, but the reason for them is so that you can take the seat from low position to high position pretty easy. And you know, we use these mostly in low position anyway, but we'll get those on there and work on some more projects on these things, get these things all nice and outfitted. So till next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you see the other videos, and go ahead and like this one just because you do. Thanks.